What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Amateur TV for another video on the second channel for Amateur. On this channel, I go through additional NBA-related content, usually concerning the Toronto Raptors, that I just do not have enough time to go through on my main channel, Amateur Sports, or maybe just don't want to put on that channel. But I love talking about the NBA, and I want to talk about these things. And today, I do want to go through my Western and Eastern Conference regular season ranking predictions, and that is exactly what we're going to be discussing. This is not something that I would feel comfortable with putting on my main channel, but I still want to document it. This is something that we can revisit at the end of the season, and I think I'm going to provide a little bit of insight into every team in the NBA and how I think they are going to play over the course of the 82 games. And we're also going to do a big piece on the Raptors and how they really stack up to the rest of the Eastern Conference. Are they good enough to avoid the play-in tournament? Are they good enough to be even better than that? Let's get into that and see. We're going to start with the Western Conference, but before we get into it, please, if you do enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like. Goes a long way to supporting the channel, and make sure you're subscribed if you're new. We usually do Raptors videos, but sometimes I sprinkle in general NBA videos like this. I just like to have a lot of fun with this channel. It's more of a passion thing. I enjoy creating this content, and I'm happy that I'm super grateful there's people maybe like yourself watching the video. So let's go into the predictions. We're gonna go to the Western Conference. It's laid out pretty plainly here. Don't need to explain anything about the rankings. We're gonna go in order. It's randomized by tier maker here. I did not make these. We're just gonna go in order as best as we can. Sometimes I'll have to skip some, but I'm trying to make this video 10 to 15 minutes. Let's go as quick as possible. The Houston Rockets, they stink. They're gonna be bottom two, I think. Good opportunity for them to bolster with a Scoot Henderson or Victor Wembanyama. I know they just gave KPJ big contract, but hey, they're drafting Scoot if they go that low. I think they're going to be going for a pick. The Pelicans, I am really high on the Pelicans. People are saying they're the most slept on team maybe in the West. If everybody's saying it, they're not slept on. They're just straight up. There's a lot of talent there. They were talented last season. Gave the Phoenix Suns a good first round of the playoffs, and those young guys are getting better. And they just added back Zion Williamson. And if he can stay healthy, big if, and he's there for a lot of the season, I think this is a team that could even avoid the play-in tournament. As I go through, might move teams up or down, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Pelicans this season. Herb Jones, big Herb Jones fan. Like him too. Clippers, I think they're good enough to be a 1 or 2 seed, but I think injuries plus load management plus them not really caring about the regular season could have a big effect on their season. I think they're more concerned about the playoffs, and they're just going to try to look to get a home seed in the playoffs, figure it out from there. They just want to make sure they actually have their guys available for the postseason. So I think third or fourth is a good spot for them. I'll put them in order as well, left to right. So for instance, if it's up here first, second, the one on the left is first, the one on the right would be second. Oklahoma, they have Shea, they have Dort. They're still not good, but I don't think they're going to be a bottom 2 team in the NBA. The Mavericks is tough. I think Luka might be the best player in the league this season, but I just don't think there's enough around him in this loaded Western Conference. Usually, somehow they figure it out and win games, but they just seem like a play-in team to me. I'm going to put them in the play-in spot. They did not replace Brunson. Not a lot of ball handlers. Really, it's just, you've got Doncic. You've got Dinwiddie, who needs to start probably now. We'll see if they go with that. Christian Wood coming off the bench. Defense is going to be a big question for that team, and I think it's a play-in spot for them. Denver. Let me just say my piece on them. Nikola Jokic has won back-to-back MVPs. He's a phenomenal player, and they're getting, after being the 6th seed, they're getting Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back. Now, Michael Porter Jr., a lot of questions, but Jamal Murray, maybe some questions, but he's a great player, and he has excellent chemistry with Nikola Jokic, but Jamal Murray has never played with this version of Nikola Jokic. I think this is a deep team that will consistently win regular season games. They are my 1 seed in the Western Conference. We'll see how stupid this looks end of the season. They're my 1 seed. I'm expecting big things from Denver. Love the acquisition of KCP. Love the acquisition of Bruce Brown. Getting their guys back. That's a good team, I think, all over the board. And a lot of depth. Golden State, Golden State are a team, to me, I think that championship, as impressive as it was, and it's a championship, I think it's going to overrate them this season. I don't think they were a top 3 team in the NBA last season. I think the Bucks, Celtics, and Suns were better than them. They ended up pulling through in the playoffs. huge credit to them, but I think that's giving people a false sort of opinion, if you will. I think they could be a 5th seed this season. I think they could be a 5th seed. I just, a lot of good young players in their bench. I just don't think they're going to be as good as we're making them out to be right out of the gates. But, Curry's excellent. I think Klay Thompson is going to regress. Draymond's going to regress. Jordan Poole, I think he'll be great. But I don't think these guys are going to be as good as we're making them out to be. 5th seed for me. Timberwolves. I am high on the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert has proven to be somebody who can completely change your defense to one of the best in the league. So many good players coming off the bench. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. I think he's going to be an all-star and all-NBA this season. I think Cat could sneak into an all-NBA team. Rudy Gobert, I think him and Cat could fight for an all-NBA 3rd, maybe even 2nd team spot here. They're going to improve defense tremendously. Chris Finch is my pick for Coach of the Year. Rudy Gobert is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. I worry about how they'll work in the playoffs together, but in the regular season, I think they're pumping out wins. 2 seed for me. Maybe a hot take. The Lakers, LeBron, if he's healthy, AD if he's healthy, not a lot to like around them. No floor spacing still. Very limited floor spacing still. That's a team that's going to struggle. That is a team that's going to struggle. I hate to say it for Bronny, but for Bron, not Bronny. But I think they're going to struggle this year. The Phoenix Suns, a lot of dysfunction with that team, but I think they're still going to be a decent regular season team. I think they're going to regress from last season. There were a lot of really close games that they won. I think they're going to regress a little bit in that endeavor, come back a little bit down to earth. Suns. No pun intended, but I think they're still top 4 seed in the West. I will keep them 4th over here. Spurs, worst team in the league. Jazz, too many good players to tank right now. We'll see if that changes, but for now, we're going to put them here. Memphis, oof. This is tough. I may have to bump New Orleans here. No Jaren Jackson Jr. for a while. This is still a good team. It's tough. They were the 2 seed last year, but this is tough. Anywhere from 3 to 5. I'm going to have to bump New Orleans. Sorry, New Orleans. Going to have to bump New Orleans. As I know I was high on them, but this is just too good of a conference. I think their defense will regress a bit, especially without Jaren Jackson Jr. for a while. I think they'll avoid the play-in. I think they're better than the Pelicans. Sorry, retracting earlier what I said about the Pelicans missing the play-in. I just think there's too many good teams. Now, Portland and Sacramento. I think Portland have a little bit too much. I think it's going to be a fun season for Sacramento. I just don't think they're going to quite be able to get to that play-in spot. I think Portland have done enough to sneak in there. I think the Lakers have too much firepower at the top end to be lower than that. They could. They could. I'm not going to rule it out, but I am going to have them like that. There is my Western Conference. All right, quickly pivoting to the Eastern Conference. Same deal. Let's go. Brooklyn, 5 or 6. Too much dysfunction. I think things will go wrong. I can't put them as a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference without having more information. Boston, maybe a little bit too much turmoil to be a top 2 seed. I'm going to put them at number 3. Could be number 1. Should be number 1. But going on behind the scenes with Udoka, I think there could be just enough dysfunction to keep them out of that top 2 spot. Atlanta, I don't know. We're going to do Raptors last, by the way. Atlanta, yeah, they're good. Trae Young's amazing. So is DeJounte. But not super convinced about the pieces around him as far as being like a top 4 seed in the East. This is a very competitive Eastern Conference. I think they're going to struggle to not be a play-in team. The East, like 4 to 9 in the Eastern Conference is so interchangeable. 4 to 8 is so interchangeable, in my opinion, in the East. They could be a 4 seed, but I think they're the worst of this middle tier that we're going to see. Chicago, 9 seed. Like staple, I'm stapling him in as my 9 seed. Cleveland, I want to come back to Cleveland and Miami later. Charlotte, it's LaMelo. It's not a lot around him. They had a guy on their team who was great. I hope he no longer plays in the NBA after I hope he no longer plays in the NBA. He should have gotten his max contract. He's never going to get it. I hope he never plays in the NBA again. Without him, that team, not very good. But they're going to try to be good, and they're going to not get a good pick out of it. They might sneak into play-in. We'll see in a second, but I don't put them there. Detroit, I feel like I am higher on Detroit than other people are. I feel like I'm higher on Detroit than Detroit fans are. I think this team wants to win games this season, and that trade for Bogdanovich kind of shows that. I think they're like not going to be a play-in team, but I think this is a team that will just continue to try to win games this season. I know Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson are available. That could deter a lot of things, but I just feel like that's a team that's going to try and win games. They're done losing all the time. So I think they're a low 30-win team. That's better than what most people are projecting them at. I have them in that tier over there. I'll rank them all a little bit later. Pacers, I think the Pacers stink, man. I know they have Halliburton, but I think Buddy Hield and Miles Turner will actually go. And I don't think there are enough teams worse than them. Maybe I'll flip them later, but 14th for me. Bucks, I'm going to give the Bucks my 1 seed. I think they're going to be outstanding this season. And let's go to the Knicks. I'm going to come back to the Knicks. I'm going to come back to the Knicks and figure out my playing spots. Orlando are the worst team in the East, I think. And I think that might keep Banchero out of winning Rookie of the Year over Keegan Murray. Philly, love what they're doing. Love what they're building. I don't love it. I hate it, but from a neutral, love what they're doing. Building a great team around Joel Embiid. Finally, putting a team around him. Adding in some great defenders. Adding in Tucker was an excellent acquisition. You can play him center and have good defense even when Embiid is out. Love that. Sixers, I think, are going to be a very good regular season team. Washington. See, we got 3 more playoff teams. We need 1 more play-in team. I give Washington the benefit of the doubt over the New York Knicks. Miami were the 1 seed last year, so they could just be here again. They could also be here. They're weird. They lost Tucker. They didn't replace him. That's a decently important player. They didn't do anything, but they just win. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. They just win. They just win. Oh, this is tough. I don't know where to put them. Cleveland, I don't know where to put these. It's so difficult to predict the Eastern Conference. All right, let's send it. Raptors, we're going 4th. They were a team that won 48 games last year. They're the 5th seed. They only are going to improve with this crop of players. I'm expecting a huge breakout year for Scotty Barnes. I'm expecting the Cavaliers to continue to develop. 6th seed. Hot take, maybe. Miami are just not, they're just not as good as these teams. On paper. I'm expecting to be wrong about Miami, but it's so difficult to predict this. I might flip those. We're Raptors channel. Let's be biased. Give the Raptors the benefit of the doubt here. Put them as the 4 seed. And based on, for both of these here, by the way, I believe these 2 teams will be the ones to come out of the play-in tournament, as I think would be over here. Wow. The NBA, the parity this season is unlike anything I've ever seen in my lifetime. There are 9 strong in the East, going down to the Bulls. And in the West, there are 7 teams I really, really like. And 4 I'm okay, pretty good on. This is going to be a fun season of NBA basketball for the neutral fan. Let's see how it all plays out. Let's revisit this at the end of the season. See if my picks were horrible. See if they were good. See if some were good, some were bad. Let me know what you think in the comments. Were they all bad? Were they all good? What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? Like the video if you enjoyed, and make sure you subscribe to Amateur TV for usually Raptor-specific content all throughout the season, but sometimes I spice it up. I throw a little extra ingredient into the cauldron with some general NBA videos because this channel's about having fun, and I'm glad you guys enjoy the videos of me having fun talking ball. See you again next time for another video on Amateur TV.